Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about the match between FC Barcelona and Girona. Barcelona barely clinched Girona 2-1 with a goal coming from Ronald Araujo, who scored the last minute goal, and the one that came before that one was Pedri, where he scored an amazing goal in the first half by shooting the ball into the bottom right corner. Now, even though there were plenty of emotions during the Pedri goal, and also especially with Ronald Araujo's last minute goal, I want to make it very clear, I was not impressed with Barcelona's game plan in this game. I believe that Barcelona could have done a lot better. We were very underwhelming, very unfocused, and very much like the 2023-2024 Barcelona that lacked very little ideas, lacked little energy. The passion was also just not there. So we went from Barcelona conceding a ridiculous goal against Girona to Jules Kounde almost being late for the meeting before the game and also having a ridiculous defensive performance against Girona. So there were plenty of things that went wrong in this match, but before I even talk about that, I also want to explain one thing. Yes, I am very happy that Barcelona achieved 3 points. However, this could have gone a lot worse. When you combine Barcelona's underwhelming performance with Gil Manzano's refereeing, you're going to get something atrocious. We're very lucky to say that Barcelona achieved 3 points tonight, but going to Gil Manzano, oh my god, bro, like I have to talk about his refereeing. I just have to. I usually do not like talking about the referee's performance and how they officiated a certain game, but for this match specifically, I just have to call it out. To Gil Manzano, bro, I'm telling you, I don't know you as a person, but as a referee, you are a fool. Once again, I don't know you as a person. Maybe you and me probably have so many things in common, and we probably could get along very well. But as you, Gil Manzano, as a referee, you are a fool, and I'm sorry. Gil Manzano tonight against Girona completed a hat-trick. Even though you don't see 3 goals on either side between Girona and FC Barcelona, the one man who had his hat-trick was Gil Manzano. Starting off with goal number 1, he cut off Barcelona's last attacking play in the first half. Barcelona were clearly about to go on and go for that open play goal, but just out of nowhere, before they even got to the midfield line, Gil Manzano said, nope, cut it off, we're done, and it is halftime. It's time for the break. So that was goal number 1. Then comes goal number 2. He canceled Kubarsí's goal, which I believe was in the second half. The reason why he canceled Kubarsí's goal is because he believed that Eric García committed a foul on one of the defenders of Girona, when clearly, when you look at the errors that Eric García supposedly did, it was not a foul whatsoever. It was a clean play. But to Gil Manzano, he said, nope, we're going to cancel this Cubarsí goal. Barcelona in no way are going to go 2-1 up in the middle of the second half. Forget about it. So then we went on to the third goal for Gil Manzano, and this is where he got his last laugh. It was him sending off Hansi Flick and giving him a red card, meaning that Hansi Flick will not feature in the match against Real Madrid. He will not be there. And this is exactly what Gil Manzano wanted. I know that he wanted this. He's not going to say it. He's an employee for La Liga. You think that he's going to say such things? No. But he is so happy to give Hansi Flick a red card. And you may question, no, but Kevin, maybe we have to look at the reason why Hansi Flick got the red card. Maybe he said something bad. No, we have the clear answer here. Hansi Flick was given a red card because he was protesting why 4 minutes were given. Simply protesting, not saying, oh my god, bro, like why give 4 minutes added after the 90th minute? Like this is not fair. No, Hansi Flick just said, he questioned, hey, what's the reason why we got 4 minutes of extra time? Like, can you explain? Just asking questions and nothing more. He wasn't angry or nothing. But then Gil Manzano went up to Hansi Flick and said, okay, because you questioned the 4 minutes, I'm going to give you a red card. And this is very unfair because when you look at other coaches, and especially at Real Madrid, Xavi Alonso can do whatever he wants and say whatever he wants. He can do as he pleases. If you do look at Real Madrid games every weekend, you would understand what I mean. Xavi Alonso says whatever he wants. He can protest whatever he wants, very much in a calm manner, just like Hansi Flick. But Xavi Alonso does not get any yellow card, no red card, no nothing. But with Hansi Flick, it is a different story. A red card and you're going to miss the next match against Real Madrid. It is robbery. It is an attempt to try and put down FC Barcelona in whatever manner, trying to take out Flick while Barcelona were tied against Girona 1-1. Once again, this is not the reason why I believe that Barcelona were underwhelming, but it is one of the factors. So it was one of those frustrating nights of officiating that disrupted Barcelona's rhythm and left so many fans furious, even the players. All in all though, let's move away from this because once again, I want to be very self-critical. I do want to focus on just our team because we all know that when Barcelona are in their A game, not even the referee can stop FC Barcelona. So let's talk about that, right? Let's go into the first half. And I do have a few thoughts. Starting with Toni Fernández. Toni Fernández did start in this game as a false 9, which was very surprising. We all thought that it was going to be maybe Ferran Torres, maybe Marcus Rashford, maybe even put in Fermin Lopez as a false 9, but no, it was Toni Fernández. And Hansi Flick explained that he placed Toni Fernández as a false 9 because he deserved it, because he was training well. But honestly, in those first 45 minutes that Toni Fernández played in, he struggled a lot to make an impact. He only had 2 touches inside the opposition box, and he offered very little goal threat. So in my opinion, I think that Toni Fernández, he did okay. Very similar to what I said with Joe Fernandez. Fernandez, right? These youngsters that come in, they never just play a bad game. They don't do that, right? They don't play bad games because they have always been trained to play well under this Barcelona system. They've just been very underwhelming, very little to offer in the attack and nothing more. And you need much more when you're playing in the number 9 role or as a false 9. And I believe that Hansi Flick knew this. He knew that he needed to compensate for Toni Fernandez's lack of presence or potential lack of presence as he was building his attacking setup, because he pushed Frenkie de Jong and Pedri higher up and they played as 8s, right? We saw Frenkie and Pedri between the lines, something that we have not seen since the 2023-2024 season under Xavi Hernandez. So we saw Casado as a lone pivot. Very surprising. We did not see not at one point a double pivot being formed, and especially between Frenkie and Pedri. That did not happen. If anything, there was a double pivot in the attacking third because they were number 8s or number 10s. So we had 2 central midfielders, and they were only up there because they needed to connect well with Toni Fernández. There needed to be more attacking support for Lamine Yamal and also for Marcus Rashford, who play on the left side. And it worked out well. I think that with Frenkie and Pedri, when they played as 8s or 10s, they did their job. And that is ultimately what led towards Pedri making that amazing goal inside the box. That Pedri goal that he scored was something that we saw back in the 2021-2022 season where he scored against Sevilla. I don't know if you guys remember that goal, but he faked a couple of shots against 2 or 3 defenders, and then he shot the ball into the corner. It was amazing. And I was actually there in person. And Pedri repeated the exact same thing. Once again, it is because he got the exact same position that he did under Xavi Hernandez. So we saw the Pedri of old. We saw the Pedri that drives runs into the box, make those constant movements, being very proactive in terms of creativity. It was amazing. I loved those runs that he was making. It was something that I missed. So we saw him much less as a organizer and more of a runner into the box and looking for the assist, very much like Kevin De Bruyne, I would say. However, it did come with a lot of problems because with Frenkie and Pedri being more daring, and especially with Pedri, sometimes Barcelona did lose the ball in the midfield. And because Barcelona lost the ball in the midfield, Barcelona were exposed a lot. So can you imagine the defensive errors that Flick brings with his high defensive line, and you combine that with the center midfield roles of Frenkie and Pedri that Xavi used to have them with? It was just complete chaos. Girona's biggest chances did come from Pedri's turnovers. And when Pedri did lose the ball, Girona went on for the counterattack. And players like Kounde, Cubarsí, and Eric García appeared very sluggish and very, I would just say, non-reactive. So Barca's shape collapsed too easily on quick transitions. And even when Barcelona were trying to press up high and they tried to take away the ball from Girona and they were trying to build up from the back, Girona had very easy decisions to make when building up from the back because Barcelona were not organized when it came to pressing up high. We talked about this before. They were very loose against PSG, very loose against Sevilla, and Barcelona's pressing overall was disorganized. It was unfocused. There was no structure. It once again points back to the 2023-2024 FC Barcelona trained under Xavi. I don't know what happened here, but that was the image that was being pulled off here. So we went on to the second half, and Hansi Flick knew that he needed to make some changes. And we saw Fermín López coming in for Toni Fernández because once again, Toni Fernández was very underwhelming, and Fermín López was a direct and immediate impact that brought in more directness, more energy. Fermín López ended with 2 shots on target, 1 off the post, 2 successful dribbles, 4 progressive passes into the final third. Even though Fermín López did not get a goal, he still connected very well with the wingers around him and the midfielders behind him as well. I would also like to call out Frenkie de Jong, right, to really close off this match. Frenkie de Jong was operating between an 8 and a 10, mostly as a 10 in the second half after coming off as an 8 in the first half, and he was linking between the midfield and the attack. And with him being much higher, you would assume that, oh yeah, he's gonna misplace more balls because he has to be more daring. No, he still completed 88% of his passes, finishing 53 out of 60, while at the same time being very consistent with the control and great tempo management. He even gave off the assist to Ronald Araujo, so I think that Frenkie cooked as a 10, as he should, because he has played in that position before. Another player I want to call off when Hansi Flick made those massive changes in the second half, Marcus Rashford went on to the striker position. Fermín was moved to the left, hence the reason why he had so many successful dribbles. But yeah, Marcus Rashford was a striker, and he showed sharp timing in his runs behind the Girona defense, and overall I saw him very well, not really confused. I just think that if he gets more chemistry with his teammates and he builds more confidence, he can be elite inside the box and deadly inside the box because his movement is already there. He understands what he needs to do. I think that these are promising signs that he could be a reliable number 9 under Flick. Would I say the most dominant 9, the next number 9 for FC Barcelona? No, but I think that if we have worst case scenarios in our squad, Rashford would have no problem playing as a 9 and scoring those goals. So I would like to see much more of that. And then lastly, right, we saw Ronald Araujo, who was given a very surprising role. We all know that he is a center back. We all know that sometimes he does play as a right back, but Flick pushed him in the attacking line late in the game. He only played 8 minutes, but in those 8 minutes, he was playing as a number 9. Like literally, he was playing as a number 9 and sharing the spot with Marcus Rashford and Fermín López. And the gamble gamble paid off. We all know how Flick likes to use his substitutions. He's always correct when it comes to his substitutions, and Araujo scored the winning goal that sealed a vital 3 points. But that is it, right? I believe that Barcelona did get lucky to get the 3 points, but we have to move forward from here. We have to learn from our mistakes. I still don't think that Barcelona learned from what happened between PSG and Sevilla, so we have to really assess everything. Yes, some of it also has to do with the fact that we have so many injuries, like Rafinha out, Lewandowski out, Ferran Torres also coming out, Xavi still not here with us, but in time I believe that Barcelona will heal, and we look forward from here, right? Our next match is going to be against Olympiacos for the Champions League. That will be happening on Tuesday, and so expect a huge day for FC Barcelona on that night. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.